We're joined by Dr. Shawn Wilson. He is the Department of Transportation and Development Secretary. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you all doing?
I've been better, but that's okay.
Yeah, she had it. It's
I heard about that pulled muscle. I don't know where I heard that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
A lot of rumors floating around. So you're still advocating. Is that fair? The 23 cent a gallon gas tax increase? Tell me about that.
No, that is not accurate. And if you read my quote, it tells you that I will not be supporting a 23 cents gas tax. What I've said was, all along, we need $700 million, and we need that to make a difference in our system if that's what we want to do as a state. I believe in supporting things that are practical, reasonable, but I also think there's some stretch goals in life. And if we want to build a system that we can all be proud of and have the things that we want, we have to pay for it.
When you had joined us, I think it was in January, maybe it was the October or November visit. Correct me again if I'm wrong. Was it $700 million? Did you say that?
$700 million has always been the number.
Did I misunderstand? Anything less than that really won't get the job done?
Well, no, I don't think anything less than that won't get the job done. What I've said was, if you give me an option, if we've decided and determined from a number of sources that the needs are going to cost us about $700 million a year, if we want to deliver that, we have to make that investment. If not, what can we do? So I said yesterday that we will spend whatever the legislature gives us, but by the same token, it needs to be impactful, because when we pass a tax or we come up with a revenue source, people assume that you have made all of the needs, that you've met all of the needs with which you've passed, which isn't the case. So in infrastructure, a $150 million package is one thing. And yes, we can spend that and we'll do something, but I can't go build new infrastructure, big bridges, billion-dollar infrastructure with $150 million a year.
What are we
and
spending?
Still meet all the needs.
What are we spending a year right now?
We are spending on new construction, or reconstruction, I should say, about $600 million, and it costs us a little over $500 million just to maintain the system that we have. And so once you overlay, there are things like mowing grass, changing guardrails, fixing signals, all of the things that are essential to protect the investment that you have. That's what we spend another $500 million on. And so when you buy a house, you don't just pay a one-time deal. You have to replace that roof in 30 years. You got to replace your light bulbs every 5 years. You've got to redo the carpet. You got to hang doors on occasion, change windows. Mm-hmm. That's what we do at the state of Louisiana for infrastructure.
Let me ask you this, Dr. Wilson. Is there a number where you say, here's a compromise below the $700 million figure, but with that amount, we can build nothing new? This just takes care of fixing problems. Is there a figure there?
Yes, there is a figure. I can tell you that with a $13 billion backlog, we could spend $50 million and do more overlays. I can do more patching. For $70 million or $150 million, I could still do more patching. I don't know that that is just our issue, because the task force charge from the governor was do a better job of maintaining what you have. Also, grow a system that will build an economy. So when you look at the new Jimmy Davis Bridge, when you look at the entrance to Barksdale, when you look at widening 20 over the river or other capacity components, you're going to need more than just what you need to maintain it, because that's a disproportionate cost. It'll cost me $400,000 to overlay 1 mile of road. If it's concrete, it might be $1 million, but to go and add an entirely new lane is going to cost $10 to $15 million for that mile. And so the cost of doing that type of work, which is so essential for a community like Shreveport, you need a widened I-20. You need new bridges over the river. Those are things that you can't just use a small amount of money and expect to get the same value. I've closed 9 bridges since 2017 started. And so for me to repair those or to replace those are two different figures.
That brings up a point that there was a report last week from a lawmaker in South Louisiana who talked about how it was critical that we upgrade I-10 and put a new bridge over the Mississippi River. There are those in North Louisiana that think if we give more money there'll still be more attention, or there's always going to be more attention in South Louisiana. Can you assure the folks that are listening to you in Shreveport, Bossier, Northwest Louisiana, that we'll get a share if we increase taxes? We'll get our share?
Absolutely. I will absolutely give you that commitment, and we are willing to work with legislators to give them assurance, because even today the legislature approves how we spend our dollars. We don't just do that arbitrarily. I will tell you that there's a $1 billion bridge in Baton Rouge. There's a $1 billion bridge in Lake Charles. There's a $1 billion overpass or construction project through Lafayette. There's a $500 million project on I-49 north through Shreveport. And so at the end of the day, how do you get enough to do all of that? And how do you maintain the existing roads you have? And that's where that meaningful number that we're looking to achieve, we have to find, because it has to be a both-and solution. We can't just go build new stuff and not take care of what we've already built.
The 23-cent tax, we've had lawmakers from our area say that is DOA. Is there a compromise number now that you're looking at?
There is a number. We want to work with legislators to say, you tell us how much you think we can pay, and I'll tell you what you can get for it. And if that's an agreement, let's take it. But by the same token, 30-plus years ago, we passed a 4-cent tax for 16 projects, and at the time, the legislature lowballed all the projects to tell the public that they can get what they think they can get. And we stand here today with 2 of those projects unmet. And part of that was widening 165, 167, building some new bridges. 2 projects are totally unfunded, and we don't have any money left out of that 4 cents until 2045. I want to be responsible, as the citizens have asked us to do, to meet our expectations and live within our means, which means manage those expectations. If I can only get $150 million, let me tell you what you can get for that, and let's be honest with the public about what it's going to get. If I can get $300 million, let's tell you what you can get for that.
Dr. Shawn, speaking of being honest with the public, you had said, I guess the statement was yesterday, that the DOTD has not always made the wisest decisions with people's money. That was a pretty gutsy thing to say. What motivated you to make that statement?
Well, when I say that, what I'm telling you is that we're not perfect as an agency, and you can look back and say we should have done this, we could have done that. The vast majority of what we spend has to do with what the legislature told us to do. And so one of the corrective actions that was made with the time program was we were paying as you go. Later in life, they decided to go out and bond that to give people something sooner than later for their money. And as a result, we've spent most of the money. I'm not questioning if it was good or bad, but there are those who could say, I'd rather wait and get what we pay for, and those who will say, I want it right now. And so we've made those corrections. I'm not challenging or questioning the integrity of the people at the department, but what I will tell you is we listen to the legislature, and we are implementers. We don't set policy. We do what we're told, and we spend money where we're told. I can show you a statewide transportation plan that said a new bridge should be south of Baton Rouge. The legislature decided, and in their wisdom at the time, because of the politics of the day, they moved the bridge to north of Baton Rouge. And today we sit in traffic because we haven't always followed data as a state and made those right decisions. And so we're committed to managing expectations. It goes back to saying, how much can we get? What can you deliver for it? And let's be about delivering that in the most efficient way possible.